How's it going? Mike here, The Fresh Rinse, and this is episode 13 of the 2023 complete pressure washing rig rebuild. I really appreciate you joining me. Today, we're going to build an unloader tree, and it's going to be great. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already hit the like button and the subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. Leave a comment, and if you don't want to miss any of my videos, be sure to hit the bell tab. I'd really appreciate it. All of that serves to help the channel. Today we're going to build an unloader tree, and we're also going to run our bypass lines from the unloader to the buffer tank. That's going to be fun. Let's take a look at the supplies and the tools that we're going to need to finish this project. Of course, we have the appropriate hardware already set in place. I have two lengths of 3/8 by 10 feet hose. I have all the hose clamps that I need. Keep those in storage. I have two bulkheads that I purchased from Tractor Supply. It takes a 1 5/8 inch hole saw. And then I have a 1/2 inch by 3/8 hose barb on each bulkhead. Again, I have a 1 5/8 inch hole saw on my 20 volt drill and have some hand tools to complete the task. I run two unloaders, one for each machine. I have an 8 gallon a minute machine and a 10 gallon a minute machine. Both of these unloaders is what I've used for the last 2 years. I'm going to continue using these, although I'm going to break these down off camera, clean them up, and then put new hoses, clamps, and some quick connects on here. This will make it look really nice and new for 2023. Off camera, I took the time to wet sand both of the unloader blocks. After 2 years of use, they are functionally 100%, but they're just a little tired looking. You can purchase these from Russ Johnson at Southside Equipment in Kentucky. All right, having done that, we are ready to mount the unloader setups to the unloader tree. I'll be connecting both unloader sets to this pole right here, and this is what we're going to call our unloader tree. Both bypass lines will run vertically underneath the 8 gallon a minute machine and these two hose reels, and then move over ever so slightly and connect to the top and yet the side of the 275 gallon tote. I'm sure this isn't the best angle from your advantage to see what I'm doing, but once I bolt this unloader to the unloader tree, we'll do a walk around and it'll all make sense. When all else fails, I'll use my persuasion tool. Once again, I have my unloader block that I purchased from Russ Johnson, Southside Equipment. This is a pressure trapped unloader. I'm not exactly sure where I got it, somewhere online for about $60, $65. And then I have my pressure gauge, which I purchased, I think, from Amazon or eBay for about $25. Off camera, we're going to mount the second unloader to the unloader tree. We'll come back and then I'll explain what these hoses are going to look like. So here we see the bypass lines installed to their unloaders. Something to take note of is that the top unloader is offset slightly to the left of the bottom unloader, and this is intentional. Notice that if these unloaders were stacked on top of each other immediately, then this hose would have to go around the bottom unloader in order to make it work. To make this seamless, as I like, and very fluid, I've chosen to offset the top unloader, again, just slightly left of the bottom unloader, allowing this bypass line to run immediately beside the other bypass line, and then, of course, under this 8 gallon a minute machine, and then eventually to the top of the buffer tank. For ease of access, I have relocated the buffer tank. I've spotted the locations for both of the bulkheads, and now it's time to drill the holes. Oops. One of the things I really like about these bulkheads, again purchased at Tractor Supply, is that it has a hex here on the end, which allows you to put a wrench on both the end and on the actual nut. Makes it much easier to tighten. As a pro tip that I just learned, it would have been better for me to reposition this one over to here because it was very easy to put this one on, but with this one, I had to fish it through with this stick and then reach over and tighten it up with the nut. So now I'm going to reposition the tote where I want it. I'll strap it down permanently, and then I'll run my bypass lines up and through and then to the bulkheads. Okay, I have the tote completely strapped down, and if you're wondering why I use straps as opposed to bolting it down permanently to the floor, I answered that question in episode 12. You'll want to go back and see how I addressed that, gave full explanation. And now I have both of my bypass lines ran from each unloader to their respective bulkheads. They are zip tied and then ran in conjunction with one another evenly underneath the reels and the 8-gallon-a-minute machine, and underneath the rack and then up to their unloaders. Off camera, I have ran the 3/8 hose from both machines from the pumps and to the unloaders. Let's take a look at that. The 10-gallon-a-minute machine pressure line runs from the machine up and around and then to this bottom unloader. It then, after the gauge, runs along the rail of the rack and up to the other side of the box. The same is said for the 8-gallon-a-minute machine. It runs up to its bypass, past the gauge, alongside the line for the 10-gallon-a-minute machine, and then runs to the injector bypass. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on in episode 14 as we install the injector bypass units right here along what I call the bypass tree, and we'll also install the FlowPro. Now, if you're an avid follower of the channel at all, then you recognize that the plumbing from the buffer tank to the machines has been disassembled. Well, the truth is it hasn't been assembled at all yet. In episode 12, we cover all of that, but these episodes have not been produced in order. So I'm waiting on the Amazon man to bring me a few parts, then we'll finish the episode for the plumbing. All you gotta do is go back one episode on my channel, episode 12, to see all of the plumbing from the buffer tank to the machines. And that's gonna do it for episode 13. I hope you're enjoying this. A lot of work is going in to make this right, not only for me, but also for you. If you are enjoying this, as always, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Leave a comment, hit the bell tab. You'll never miss another episode. I'm looking forward already to episode 14. It's going to be a doozy. All right, my name is Mike. They call me the Fresh Rinse, and I'm out.